Hey Groovers, welcome to the music show. What a day yesterday was. Really lovely. One of my favourites because I got the A string, basically my electric cello, I'd put my A string from my acoustic, yes darling, on there some time ago. And it's such a laborious job changing your strings around. But Larson strings are pretty expensive. I think about 50 quid or something. So I didn't really want to buy another one. So what I've done is I purchased yesterday from Casswell Strings, who I really like. String Zone is another one, but Casswell does tend to be a little bit cheaper. And if you sign up for their website news, like a newsletter thing, they give you vouchers on there, so codes, so you can get reductions. So I got about a £5 off my set of strings. So they do a recommended set of strings for your electric cello. Now, the electric cello is very different. I mean, it's like a different instrument. I'll tell you about that in a minute, compared to the acoustic. So I managed to do all that, got a full set of electric strings, as recommended by Casswell's, which were £145. I will obviously review them and tell you how I get on, but they were definitely recommended as the best ones for an electric. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to do that, because so much of the string is lost on an electric. You're doing very different things. Having said that, when you're recording, if you're close to the string, you are getting some resonance. I'm yet to see if that will make a difference from the Larson. If the Larson was better, I will change. Of course I will. We shall see about that. I find the strings that are currently on my Yamaha cello are quite tough to get a decent sound out of. So it might be to do with the bridge. I do need a new bridge. So all of these things will be, guys, I've been recording with it. All my releases have been, I've used that. So when you're an electronic musician or you're using electronic digital editing software, you can sort of get away with quite a bit. You can put your resonance on it for a start. I mean, that's the big thing. You can put chorus on it. All these things that make, really give it some welly. So anyway, I put the Larson A string back on the acoustic. Now, I've also been playing standing up with the electronic for lessons. So I can't stand up with the acoustic. It's too fat and I'm too thin. It's just too much for me. I think actually if you've got a big belly, it gives it something nice to rest on, because you do find you're sticking your stomach out a bit, but I don't have a big tummy. So you can use the soft cushion that comes with the carrier, the stand-up thing by Mike Block. The Block strap, I believe it's called. You can use that, but it's not, I don't find it comfortable. I don't find anything about it comfortable with the acoustic, whereas I do with the electric. So it's quite a big difference there. Anyway, I thought, right, I'm going to have to sit down. Sat down, and it was like I had never played the bloody thing in my life. Honestly, I was such a novice. But, half an hour later, I was back to where I've always been as a musician. A little bit rusty. I mean, I'm going to have to do a big practice today. So I'm not doing a online lesson for cello until maybe tomorrow or the next day. And I'll tell you why. I've ordered a mute, and a mute is a sort of rubberized thing that you can put over the bridge, and it really dampens the sound of the cello. Now, if you use a bridge and a rag, so you put a rag around, a t-shirt will do, t-shirt's perfect, around the base of the bridge, and you put a mute on, you will find that, you can barely hear anything. Well, no, rather the neighbours can barely hear anything. And what's concerning me is I live in a block of flats, and I'm very worried about the neighbours when I'm practicing the acoustic. But it turns out that I need to practice the acoustic as much as I practice the electric. Otherwise, because they are like two separate instruments, you're really going to suffer when it comes to recording and what have you. So I quite like using the acoustic for lessons. It sounds nicer. And I quite like using the electric for recording because it's just so much easier than miking up an acoustic cello. Way easier. So all those things considered, it means really double practice, but that's fine. So I went for the most expensive mute. Well, if you go to Casswell's, they have a comparison. So they say this one's the best for blocking out noise, or this one's not quite as adaptable as this one, and stuff like that, And that's really, really useful. So there is a cheaper one, which is a full rubber one, which is really good. I think it was £16.99. I went for a metal one, which was about, I don't know, £20 or £17, something. I mean, it wasn't that much more expensive, to be honest. You may as well go for the one, if it's only a couple of pounds more, you may as well go for the one that's, gonna, if it's for blanking out sound properly. I mean, if you use one in an orchestra, you probably don't want to blank out so much sound. You just want to mute, take that edge off a little bit, because some composers do ask, they do instruct you to put the mutes on the cellos or whatever instrument. So bear that in mind. For me, it's a workhorse. It's doing the lessons. It's hours of practice. It's doing the proper challenges. All of these things really, really require attention. And my neighbours are just, I respect them. I don't want them to listen to my rubbish. I'd be fine if I was putting on a concert every day, but even that would get on your nerves. You can only have so many cello concerts before that you get overpowered by them and you just want to bloody rest. So, I'm very appreciative of that. So I'll let you know how I get on with both of those. Other things, I've been fiddling around with all my YouTube accounts again. The other day I noticed I had a lot of thousands of broken links. And these are broken links to my YouTube or back again from my YouTube to my websites, to websites that I don't have anymore, which is annoying. Some I can't change, but you can change everything in your description and title on YouTube, which is really useful. So basically, I had stuff on YouTube from years ago when I was doing more adult content, and what I've done is I've changed the description so there's no words like sex or sexy in them or anything that might be deemed overly risque for YouTube, because once you start growing your channel on YouTube, they can just close your channel down. That you are at their whim, really. So you need to protect yourself. Now, I don't make obscene rap, or expletives in my songs. Do I? I don't think I've ever done that. Maybe, I did one, Fuckatory, I think. But it was so indistinguishable. I can't remember. I called it something completely different in the title. Smile, I called it. But it did have fuck in the wording. But it was because I did it as a sort of pretend homage to heavy metal. I was amusing myself at my age doing that. It was quite good, actually. It got quite a few downloads. But anyway, the AI, I believe now, can hear words, and it will tell, the host, the streamer, whatever, that there's an expletive in it. So you might need to be a bit careful about that. But there are loads of adult content videos on YouTube. I just think you need to make sure you're covered by everything. I was a sex therapist for a while, and I had some words on there that were about various parts of the body, and I was getting strikes left, right and centre for those. And also, similarly, if you put anything like masochism in there, they don't like it. They don't like it at all. They don't like anything to do with the possibility of inflicting pain. God. And what else did I notice today? Oh, well, I think that's about it. But changing the title of a whole bunch of videos isn't a particularly good idea, because how are you going to differentiate? Do you see what I mean? There is one track that did I get a strike for it? I think I may have, or no, it was removed, and it was Pussy, and it was a nursery rhyme from my kids' show. And it had pictures of kittens on it, in emojis of kittens and cats, and it was so ridiculously innocent, but they won't have it. And I appealed, and they still won't have it. And yet it's on my kids' channel without any issues. So I assume that's because the channel that it has been removed from has adult content on it. It does have over 18 stuff. So YouTube don't like to have a channel that's got kids stuff and adult content stuff. So you bear that in mind as well. That's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, if you do a video, for example, if you've done, I don't suppose many of you have made music for a kids cartoon and have made a watershed film, but you may have. So that's something to bear in mind. You need two separate channels, really. And that's just because they really don't like it. So YouTube is diverting now all my videos to my podcasts or to my channels, which is really nice. Like my Lounges TV channel where I can get paid for a video. So even if you're not getting paid on YouTube for your music, you can channel or drive your visitors to another place where they have to pay more money. And the way to do that is to put a link at the top of the description. And then that will be a clickable link when people go in to watch your film. So yeah, I've been doing that. I've got terrible IBS because I was so stressed about it all. But I've got rid of all my broken links. So important. And now everything's going up again. I've got more people coming to my blog sites. I've got more people coming to my podcasts. I mean, yesterday, like 500% more people went to my podcast. That's amazing. And that's just because I've tidied everything up and got rid of all the broken links. And I'm really chuffed about that. But the aftermath of working like a dog, to repair all the damage that I've caused myself, not as such by accident. I mean, I was experimenting the last sort of 4 or 5 months to see what was going to work. And I'd set up all these different blogs to see if any would be popular. And because I'm a writer, where could I put my books, for example? Do I want my books on my music channel? Do you see what I mean? All of these different things. And, after sort of 5 or 6 months of sort of heavy research, I've realised what didn't work and sorted it out. And I've had to do that quite quickly because I'm very good at creating content. So there was a lot of content, thousands and thousands of, blog entries, thousands and thousands of podcasts, ringtones. I mean, just endless amount. And I noticed today when I was looking through my YouTube, my proper channel, well, it's not really my proper channel, my channel for the official music that I do is, the oldest posts videos are from 2009, and I was thinking that's 15 years. I mean, that's a long time to have, been working with content and been creating content. So although I consider myself only in my 4th year of my business plan, actually I'm in my 9th year of the career, So it's amazing how time it goes by, but your content does add up, so nothing's been wasted. I've even found over the last few days hundreds and hundreds of podcasts, programming that I thought I'd lost forever when Spreaker closed me down for music, for copyright. It was my own music, but they weren't happy with it. And all of those videos were automatically put on YouTube, so they are all there, which is just fantastic. It means that although I lost, at one point I was earning quite a bit of money on my podcast, and I lost all of that. I think it was about 2 years ago, just bang, nothing, went from nothing, earnings to nothing. And that's still not quite got back to where I was, but it's getting there. It is getting there. So it's difficult for us musicians to find our place in the world, our platform, but experiment and you'll get there in the end. So welcome to the music podcast and chat with me, iServalan. Very good, very good. I'm going to get some coffee and have a bit of a chill before I do a mega cello practice, the last or second to last one before the neighbours complain, probably, because I haven't got my mute yet.